Hello and welcome, dear students. How are you all? I welcome you to the class of biology. Dear students, please report your attendance and we'll begin right away. Okay. Centers, please report your attendance. I'm waiting for you. Okay. Yeah, so students, please report your attendance and we'll begin. We have to also start a new chapter today. So in the last class, we had covered up to morphology of angiosperms was covered, but today, up till plant kingdom was covered. So today we will be starting with morphology of angiosperms. So you can write the heading. We are starting a new chapter today. Morphology of angiosperms. Okay, thank you, Shillong students. All right. Thank you for Right. So we are today starting the morphology of angiosperms, and thankfully it's a much better chapter compared to the previous ones because there were a lot of details in plant kingdom. There were a lot of details in biological classification, but thankfully this chapter is somewhat less detailed, and let me say that it is more fun than the previous chapters that you have studied up till now, right? So starting on okay, everybody is there. So I wanted to show you some things regarding give me a second. All right. So when I talk about this chapter, first of all, in this chapter what we are going to start from the root organs, the plant organs. Morphology refers to the external appearance, the external features, externally visible features of plant organs. Okay. So when we talk about the morphology of angiosperms, we are basically going to start with the externally visible plant organs. So what are the externally visible plant organs? We are going to talk about root. We will start from the root. Then we will move on to stem or shoot, root, stem, leaf. Anything else is remaining? Flower. Root, stem, leaf, flower. And after studying about a little bit about flower, we are also going to start inflorescence along with it. So inflorescence and flower we will study consecutively. Inflorescence, flower. Okay. And we are also going to study some externally visible features of inflorescence or flower. Types of inflorescence, types of parts of flower, actually the parts of the flower, calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. So a lot of things will be studied in this, and based on everything like this, in the end of the chapter you are going to study some families of plants, families of angiosperms actually, families of angiosperms. Right? So all this we are going to study one by one. So let's start with root. Let us start with root, and carrying on after root, we will move on to the stem, the leaf, and the flower. Alright, so let's start from root. What do you people understand by the root? What do you people understand by the root? What comes into our mind when we talk about root? Yes? What thing do you think of when I ask you about root? Give me a second. Alright. So, when I talk about root, you will say that the part of the plant which attaches it to the soil anchors it firmly into the soil. That is called root. Right? So, when I am saying root, you must refer to the negatively phototropic, positively geotropic part of the plant which firmly anchors the plant into the soil. Is that clear? So, this is the definition of the root. Let us write the definition of root. What is the root? Root is the positively geotropic. Positively geotropic means it grows in the direction of gravitational stimulus. Grows downward in the, grows downward in the direction of gravity. Positively geotropic, negatively phototropic, grows away from the direction of light, and also grows positively in the direction of water. Water is also important for the root. Positively hydrotropic. Positively hydrotropic part of the plant. Okay. Now we will study about the different types of root. So let's put the second heading now. Types of root. Different types of root. So please tell me, what are the different types of root that you are aware of? What are the different types of root that you know? Yes? Tap root everybody knows. Fibrous root everybody knows. After that is the adventitious root. Right? So there are three types of root that we are going to discuss here. Tap root, fibrous root, and adventitious root. I'll discuss all these one by one. Tap root, there are three types of root. Number one is tap root. Next is fibrous root. I will explain the difference between fibrous and tap root, and I will also explain the difference between fibrous root and adventitious root. Actually, there is a lot of confusion between fibrous and adventitious because they look the same, but there is a huge difference. Adventitious root. Yeah, very good, Shillong students. Very good. You're answering. That's great. Alright, so first part is tap root. taproot. So what is taproot? Everybody has seen taproot. I guess everybody has seen taproot, right? So what is exactly meant with a taproot? This is a taproot. On the left, what you're seeing here is basically the taproot. Okay. If you want a better image, I can give you an example of better image also. Yeah, this will be more sufficient to explain. This is a beautiful, crunchy taproot that everybody likes to consume, right? Yeah, so it's a storage taproot. I'll come up to that also, but this is a taproot. It is definitely a taproot. So taproot is that part of the plant which develops from the radicle. You can say here, taproot, what is taproot? Is the part of plant, is the root, basically just write, is the root which develops from radicle. From radicle. So that root which develops from the radicle is called the taproot. And one more thing, taproot is a characteristic feature of dicot plants. Taproot, it is generally found in dicot plants. It is a characteristic feature of dicot plants. Right? Taproot is a characteristic feature of dicot plants. And you can write, it develops from the radicle. So basically it is the first plant organ. Right? What is the characteristic feature of taproot? It is long, thin, tapering, cylindrical at the top and tapers down to the bottom. It is long, thin, cylindrical root which tapers down to the bottom. Tapering to the bottom. Okay, so this is about taproot. Also, taproot is formed only once in the lifetime of the plant. Only once in the lifetime on the plant. It is formed only once in the life cycle of plant. It is formed only once in the life cycle of plant. If it is gone, if it is destroyed, then it will never be formed again, right? Because look, why do the trees grow so tall? Because they have a very well established taproot system. Taproot is very strong, and it is going to be found in all plants which attain great heights. Great heights cannot be possible without taproot. Okay, even gymnosperms, they also have taproot. Do you remember? Redwood trees, very large giant trees, they also have taproot. Okay, so it helps the plant by firmly anchoring it in soil. Okay, that you know. Also, one more thing. Yeah. Then there is another type of root layer. Yeah, this is going to be sufficient, I think. Let's start the next root system. The fibrous root system. Fibrous root system. So fibrous root system, what is fibrous root system? These roots originate from the base of the stem. These roots originate from the base of the stem. Originate. Look, this seems a very vague definition. This gives no idea where it is formed and why it is formed. So I'll explain. These roots originate from the base of the plant. But it is not giving a clear idea of where and how and why this fibrous root system is formed. So I'll explain you the reason. Have you seen a seed germinating? Everybody eats sprouts, I guess. Everybody loves eating sprouts. Yeah, say yes. Of course, you must be loving sprouts. Everybody loves sprouts. Some people might not like it, but I guess most of the people, more or less, they like it. And if you don't like it, your mothers, our parents will still make us eat it, right? So, I'm talking about germinating seeds called sprouts. For example, you must be aware of the gram seed, right? Gram seed, you put it in water, wait it for about 24 hours, it starts germinating. Something white colored starts forming. A white colored structure comes out. That is the radicle. That is the radicle. But pea, gram, all these legumes are dicot plants. All these are dicot plants. In these, the radicle is going to convert into the taproot. Radicle basically converts into the taproot. But what about those plants in which radicle is short-lived? Yes, these plants are called monocot plants. In monocot plants, the radicle is formed. It is short-lived. So the surrounding cells around the radicle, they form fibrous root system. Fibrous root system is not very strong, and it is well suited for short height plants like wheat, rice, maize. Are you getting me? So please write it. It is a characteristic feature of monocot plants. Characteristic feature of monocot plants. It is a characteristic feature of monocot plants. In monocot plants, radicle is short-lived. Radicle is short-lived. And this short-lived radicle is replaced by fibrous root. The cells surrounding the radicle form fibrous root system. Fibrous root system. Okay. So what is this fibrous root system that everybody is talking about? So let us see here. Okay, so it's not converting. Give me a second. Right, it's not coming well. Yeah. So basically, I'm talking about these plants in which the radicle is short-lived. So this is a fibrous root system. Fibrous root system. Okay, so this is the fibrous root system. There are some exceptions also, like in some monocots they can be, but those exceptions are right now not in your course, so I don't want to discuss them right away. It might get you confused. Okay. All right, so moving on. Moving on. Fibrous root system is done now. Third is the adventitious root system. Please put the heading. Adventitious root system. Adventitious root system. So I want you to take a look at this. Yeah, take a look at this. This is a kind of root which is coming from above the ground. This is a kind of root which is coming from above the ground, not below the ground. So this root has not developed from radicle or from area surrounding the radicle. Such type of root which can arise from any part of the plant except the radicle, it is called fibrous root system. I will repeat again. If you take a look at this picture, actually this is a kind of special kind of root called the stilt root. Stilt root is a kind of adventitious root. Everybody loves growing, everybody has, I think, money plant at home. Everybody knows what money plant is. Everybody knows what money plant is. Everybody knows what money plant is, yes? Okay. So money plant, how do you grow it? You take some cutting, put it in water, or you can put it in soil also. And if you take a stem cutting of money plant, grow it in water, it will grow into a new plant. Why? Because that cut part of the stem quickly develops the roots, right? So I am going to take any plant like this, and if it develops roots, it is called adventitious root, because it is not developing from radicle or from area surrounding the radicle. So you can simply write adventitious type of root system is that root system. This type of root system develops from stem nodes. Basically, it comes from stem nodes and not from the radicle or from area surrounding the radicle. So it is neither taproot, neither it is fibrous root. It is something else, so that it is called adventitious root. Okay? So you can write here this type of root system basically arises from the nodes. Give me a second. Okay. You can find it in pothos, money plant. Okay. You can also write here adventitious type of root. Adventitious root is that root which develops from any part of plant except radicle. That is the definition of adventitious root. Now, what is the main function of root? Functions of root. What are the functions of root? The functions of root are absorption of water and minerals from the soil, absorption of water and minerals from the soil providing proper anchorage to plant parts, providing proper anchorage to plant parts, storing reserve food, and synthesis of plant growth regulator. Synthesis of plant growth regulators. Now in your NCERT it is not given which regulator. It is not given. Answer is cytokinin. Cytokinin. I am writing it here. When I will teach you plant physiology, in plant physiology, last chapter of plant physiology, plant growth regulator, there I will tell you that cytokinin hormone is produced by root. Auxin is produced by shoot system. Cytokinin is produced by root system. Okay. Now we must cover regions of the root. Regions of the root. Okay. So let's please put the heading, next heading. Regions of the root. Regions of the root, you can write here. The root is covered at apex. First of all, let me draw the diagram first so that you can understand. Okay, so it's not coming very well. Wait a minute. I'll draw it in this part. Like this. Like this. This first zone is called the root maturation zone, or the root hair zone, zone of root hair. This is the topmost zone, basically it's the root hair zone. The region of maturation or root hair zone. Root hair. Then is the second zone. It is called the region of elongation. The region of elongation. Region of elongation. Next zone, it is called the root cap zone. It's a cap-like structure. I am drawing it too enlarged, so I must correct it. It's not so huge. It's like this. Slightly more than, very slightly more than the region of root, like this. I am drawing it like a helmet-like structure. It's just a helmet-like structure. This is the region of meristematic activity. Oh, wait a second. This is actually the root cap. I'll have to edit it again. Wait a bit. Like this. And on top of it, you can draw it like a shaded area. Like this. This is better. There is no confusion now. I'm drawing it with different color. Small zone, small area. This is called the region of meristem. Region of meristem, root meristem. Root meristem or root apical meristem. Root apical meristem. Okay. Region of root meristem or root apical meristem. Now just below this is this area called root cap. This helmet shaped structure, it is called root cap. These are the regions of the root. These are the regions of the root. So I hope you have drawn it. Let me know if you have finished. As soon as you are finished, we'll move on. Okay, so let me know as soon as you finish this diagram. It's not so complicated. Have you done it? Yes? Okay, I think you are still drawing. Okay, please finish. Then we'll talk. Alright, so there are other type of root magnification, modifications also that we need to discuss after this. I guess you have finished by now. Okay, yeah, all right. So finally we can move on to the details and description of these types of regions. First of all, we'll start from the root cap. Root cap. So why do we need the root cap? What is the function of the root cap? We need to discuss this first of all. So what is the root cap? Root cap is a helmet shaped structure formed of those cells which are hard and resistant to the soil particles. Why? Because the root is constantly growing downwards. As it is growing downwards, it will face some resistance from the soil particles, and soil particles are representing a lot of friction. Even though the root grows very, very slow, it is still going to be having some impact. Okay, even though it is slow growing, but root particles are very rough, they will not remove themselves from the path of the root. Therefore, the root will have to face some resistance, friction and damage to protect itself from damage for those cells which are especially very delicate. Root apical meristem cells are very, very delicate cells. So to protect them, a helmet shaped structure or a zone of cells formed of hard resistant cells is called the root cap. It is the root cap. So let us write this down. Root cap represents or it is a thimble shaped structure those who play guitar, they already know what a thimble is, right? Those who play guitar, they already know what thimble is, right? You wear thimbles in your fingers and your, sometimes some people put the thimbles in their thumbs also. So that thimble is there to protect yourself from the action of the cord. So sometimes some people might have some bleeding also. So some people play it with bare hands, but it is very difficult. For me, it is very difficult to play a guitar without some clips. Anyway, so it is a thimble-shaped structure, and it protects the slender root apical meristem cells the slender root apical meristem cells from friction or damage against soil particles. This is all. However, this is there is some question asked in NEET examination. I'll tell you about it. In NEET examination, a question was asked that which of the following plants possesses multiple root caps? Which of the following plants possesses multiple root caps? Okay, so multiple root caps are found in a plant called pandanus. Normally, single root cap is there. Normally, there is a single root cap per plant. However, multiple root caps are found in pandanus. Pandanus is also known by its common name in English called screw pine. Okay. This is about root cap. Then we have root apical meristem or RAM. Root apical meristem or RAM. Now you can write about it. It is a small group of cells. It is a small zone small region of cells which are in active cell division state. Active cell division state. Which are in active cell division state. Next you can write root apical meristem cells are very small. They have very small amount of protoplasm. Cell volume is very small because cell vacuole is absent or nearly absent. Okay, so these are the properties of these cells. You can say the cells of this zone or region the cells of this region are very small thin walled and have dense protoplasm. And have dense protoplasm. Right? They are in a constant state of cell division, I have already told you. Right? And this is a very small, like the cells, you can also write. Cell volume is very less. Cell volume is very less. Why is it so less? As vacuole is absent, there is no cell vacuole. Cell vacuole is the largest cell organelle of the plant cells, right? So it is absent. Cell volume becomes very, very small. The cell wall is also composed of primary cell wall only. Primary cell wall I'll explain later when I will teach you cell chapter. Then there is the third zone called region of elongation. Region of elongation. Region of elongation refers to those cells which have undergone rapid cell elongation. They have undergone rapid cell elongation, so they have changed their appearance from very small cells to expanded cells. They have changed their form. You can write here, these cells have been formed by cell division from meristematic cells, from root meristem cells. Root meristem cells divided and pushed some cells to the back. These cells are of root elongation zone. Now, these cells will develop cell vacuole. Cell vacuole will cause changes in the cell volume. Cell volume will become large. Cell wall will stretch. Cell wall will stretch a lot. And after stretching, the cell wall will gain some volume. After that, the cell wall will repair itself. It will grow thicker. Previously, it was very thin. And after finally elongation has happened, we get a long, elongated cell having the maximum cell volume, but no cells of this region will develop root hair. The cells are not fully matured. You can say here, the cells of this zone the cells of this region undergo rapid change in cell volume okay, and cell vacuole also develops. Cell vacuole develops. You can say that the maximum change in root length is because of this region. It is in this region. You can say because these cells grow rapidly, so the growth of the root, the change in length of the root, because root is constantly growing downwards. So maximum change in root length occurs because of the region of elongation. The maximum change in root length occurs because of region of elongation. Then we have the zone of maturation or region of maturation. Or root hair region. Root hair region. So what is happening in this zone? In this zone, the cells which have undergone maximum change in length, the fully grown cells will now develop root hair and they will also undergo some changes which will make them into permanently mature cells. These are the oldest cells, you can say. Okay, so you can say here the cells undergo full differentiation and maturation. The cells which are coming from zone of elongation, they will later convert into maturation zone. So region of elongation goes downward. It will constantly change the position. Maturation zone continuously increases, right? Because of zone of elongation. Here the cells undergo full differentiation and maturation. Full differentiation and a maturation. Right? And from this zone, some of the epidermal cells form very fine thread-like structures called the root hair. Form very fine thread-like structures called root hair. And the root hair absorb basically water and minerals from the soil. Okay. And what do the root hair do? Everybody knows, right? Root hair absorb water and minerals from soil. This is all about the regions of the root. Let's finish it quickly and we'll move on. Finish it quickly. Okay. Let me know when you're finished. Okay. So finally we are, I think everybody must have finished it. Okay. Yeah, all right. So let's move on. Please put the heading modifications of root. Modifications of root. Modifications of root refers to the types of different modified apparatuses that roots are known for. So they can be of great variety. They can be of great variety, right? And this we will discuss. Now there are some specific root modifications that we must study first. And these are modifications for support, modifications for breathing, okay? And this is something that we should discuss now, okay? So let's start with the modifications of root for support and storage, all those things, right? So please write. Root can be modified root can be modified for various purposes such as for support, for breathing, for breathing, for breathing, and for storage. Storage roots are of great variety. Storage roots are of great variety that we have to we'll have to discuss, okay? All right, so let's do that. First of all, please write for support. For support. Now for support, everybody must have seen banyan trees. Everybody must have seen banyan trees, right? Now, when you look at a banyan tree, what do you see? Look, a banyan tree can be very huge. It can be spread over kilometers. It can be spread over kilometers. Do you remember when I taught you the first chapter? In that I discussed that there is a tree in India around which if you want to go, you will have to cover a distance of about 3.5 kilometers. Yeah, okay. Nobody remembers, I guess. Alright, it's okay. So, let me brush up to your memory on this. Alright. So, give me a second. Okay. So, wait a second. This one. I had told you that to cover such a huge distance, about 3.5 kilometers, you will have to go around this whole tree. So this is the great Indian banyan tree found in Indian Botanical Garden, and it looks like a huge jungle, but it is actually just one tree, one single tree, right? And these are the roots that are coming out from it. These are the roots that are coming out from it, and these are the prop roots. So for support, prop roots in banyan tree what is the botanical name of banyan tree? I believe I told you. What is the botanical name of banyan tree? Okay, look, I think I told you that there are many species of banyan. Ficus bengalensis, Ficus glomerulosa, Ficus religiosa, Ficus krishnae. Nobody remembers? Okay, it's okay. All right. It's all right. You can just write Ficus bengalensis. It's from Great Indian Banyan tree, that Bengal banyan, that this name was developed. So it's in West Bengal also. But banyan tree's botanical name, biological name is Ficus bengalensis. Alright, so how much time is left? Okay. Prop root in banyan tree helps in supporting the main stem. Supporting the main stem. In the case of Great Indian Banyan tree, the main stem has decomposed. Still it is alive. How it is alive? It is because of these prop roots. Yes, these are the prop roots that I am talking about. These roots. The prop roots. Okay, it's not very visible here. So what should I take? I should take a darker color maybe. But then it will not look very good. Okay, it's fine. So let me take this part. Yeah. So these are the prop roots. Where are they arising from? They are arising from these parts. I hope this is visible to everybody. Yeah, some remember and some do not. It's okay. It's fine. Just try to revise once in a while, and then everybody can remember. It's okay. I understand that you have a lot of problems and you have a lot to do. I remember my student life. It's really hectic, but revision is one part that we must never leave. Okay, so my job is to help you remember these, and your job is to go home and try to do at least for half an hour. You can pay some time to revision. I'll be happy if you do that. So what is happening here? Prop roots arise from the branches. They grow into the ground and establish themselves firmly in the soil. Okay. So this is the prop root. Then there is another type of root that is found in mangrove trees. I am talking about the breathing roots. How many people have seen the mangrove trees? Has anyone seen the mangrove trees? Yes or no? For breathing. For breathing. Okay, so you have not seen that. So I'll help you remember all that. Okay, let me insert some pictures here. It's not very high resolution, but you must get the idea. That's what I expect. Yeah. So you can see these plants. These are growing underwater. These are growing underwater. Yeah. These are growing. Their roots are actually in permanently waterlogged soil. You can take a look at this first picture. You can see this is a side view. The plant stem is growing up, but the roots are completely underwater. They are completely underwater. It's clear. Now this is a huge problem for these plants, which are not aquatic plants, but these are terrestrial plants. And terrestrial plants cannot survive underwater. So what do? They have a spatial adaptation for this. They have a very special adaptation for this, and this type of root that they develop, it is called the pneumatophore. So how many people, oh yeah, okay, nobody remembers. So let me tell you about pneumatophore. What happens here is, mangrove plants have their roots permanently submerged in water. Mangrove trees is a better term because, yeah, they are trees, of course. You can write here, mangrove trees have their roots permanently submerged underwater. So they have some special roots which are negatively hydrotropic, or you can say they are positively phototropic, negatively geotropic roots. And what is this looking like, that we must discuss. Please write. Mangrove roots develop pneumatophores. The name of this root is pneumatophore. Pneumatophores are negatively geotropic, negatively hydrotropic roots. They run away from water. Negatively hydrotropic roots. So what happens is, a plant has this root system which is underwater. Yeah, this is some water here. Let's suppose this is some underwater area. So its roots are completely underwater now. And to prevent this kind of situation, what does the plant do? It has a tap root growing downwards. Tap root is growing like this. So the main root is underground, but the root branches are here and there. So these are the root branches. And from these root branches, some roots will grow upwards. Some roots will grow upwards. Okay, and these roots have some special pores in them, and these pores are situated only above water. This root is called pneumatophore. Pneumatophore. Actually, it looks like thorns. It looks like some kind of thorns. This pore that is present, it is for intake of air. This pore that is there, it is for intake of air. It is called pneumatothode, air pore. Pneumatothode. So please write it down. Our time is almost over. Yeah, it's over actually. So just finish this. We'll finish this part and then you can go home. Okay. Just finish this part. I'll make it a point like your boring part is over. This from morphology, anatomy, these are the parts that you will enjoy, right? So up till now it was mostly theoretical. A lot of things were there, and it's difficult to show some of these things. But starting from here, morphology becomes quite interesting. You will see a lot of things. You will enjoy a lot of things. Okay. So just finish this. In the next class, we'll cover stem, leaf, and probably we'll be reaching the inflorescence part, right? Just finish this and then you can go. Okay? Soon as you're done, let me know. Okay. Thank you, dear students. Travel home safely. Thank you and good night. Thank you.